zones and completing 1 or 2 zones. Like, it's pretty simple to get to 50. But it's that end game content that really, like, the fact that I need to go get this specific item for my house from this different quest chain gets me going over there and doing it. I don't really have a natural draw to go do the quest for many other reasons. I'm not a huge ESO lore buff. Like, I've always loved Oblivion and Skyrim, but I've managed to play all these games without learning like the ins and outs of the lore. So to me, it's like, well, those are just more zones. I don't need to do them. But then I see them like, shoo, there's that really nice item at the end. I got to do it. Got to put it in the house. I think that was an ingenious way to get them to open my wallet and just throw money at them. Good job, Sauce.
Yeah, player housing, I discussed this a lot with Ninja Monkey a couple weeks ago, and it really is. It was something that, as my viewers will know, I was not a fan of at first because I thought they were asking for a lot of money for the houses, like, and then to get them furnished, it's a lot of money, and then to top it off, if you have a smaller house, you have a set amount of things you can put in there, so it's like forcing you to buy bigger houses. But I think, like I said, like you said, the player housing is an end game thing. It is not for new players, and it sucks that that's the way it is. But it's an MMO, and I feel like housing is end game for a lot of MMOs. So that's just the way they have to do it because an MMO, a company that runs one, needs to keep the game alive, need to get updates, and they need the money. They need the fund. They need the funds for it. So player housing, I think, has been a huge plus for them. And then also the other thing is the community for player housing is insane, dude. That's the thing that always blows my mind. I was talking to my stepdad last night, and he goes, "What are you gonna do tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll probably do dungeons, like the normal get up." And he was like, "Yeah, you don't do like trials anymore or PvP." I'm like, "Yeah, not as many people were into it." And then I was like, "A lot of people like player housing though." And he goes, "Really?" He goes, "A lot of people like to watch people decorate their house," and I'm like, "It's insane," and it's blown me away. And it was a conversation I had with Ninja Monkey. I'm like, "Dude, you hit the right market. Like, you're killing it." Like, and then I've seen you doing it. I'll host you, and I'm like, "Shit, dude, Kyle's got 60 viewers right now, killing it, and he's just working on his house, and everyone's just having a good time." And I'm like, "That's awesome." Like, and I think, dude,
love it.
You've even seen other streamers doing it. It's something that I think it's a fad that everyone's like, "Oh shit, player housing." That's so.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
I think it really helps with the community. So this is where I was saying it's kind of hard to disconnect it from Twitch because I don't like to decorate that much myself in games, which is where those decorating streams for me are a little bit hit and miss. I'm more the errand boy that one of my really close friends and mods there tells me what to do, what we need for the house, and we have a whole spreadsheet. And I have now 3 houses in the game, and so we have 3 different tabs. And I've made it like I went crazy with it, and I copied a formula and everything. So like you put in a check mark on the left-hand column, and it scratches out all the things you wrote across the board. So there's like detailed system of keeping track of what items I've been told to fetch. And where it gets really cool with the community is people from my guild and people from the Twitch channel will donate an item, and they've said, "I really love that I can see this in your house. I really love that you did it." So in fact, our next house that we're doing, which might be that Grand Sijic Villa thing,
It's a cool house.
It's a cool house. I want to do it where they donate items and theme like a corner of a bedroom the way they want it to look, or like of a room. So you kind of know what that looks like when you're going through like the Dark Brotherhood or whatever, and it might not even just be ESO, but like any of the Elder Scrolls. You'll see like you go into a guild, and so-and-so's an orc, so their area's got a lot of orcish trinkets, and then it's an Argonian, and they got that. And I kind of want to do that for these guys so that they can donate and make their own portion of a room. I just think that'd be a really cool thing to see because it would be completely crowd-funded, the house, or crowd-sourced.
That would be really cool. What I've actually done is I got all the crafting stations from one of my viewers, and now all my viewers go there to decon and to craft things.
Oh, yeah.
And that creates like a huge necessity for the house as well. And yeah, player housing, the cool thing too is every update they always add to player housing. You get new pieces of furniture, you get new things to do, and I think that just keeps the community specifically into player housing really excited. Like Ninja Monkey told me, he goes, "There's no reason for me not to get on every time a new patch comes out because I get new stuff to do."
Did you see the Halloween stuff that got data mined and released today, I think?
It looks crazy.
They have Alinor stuff, man, in like 4 different sets, and I know it'll cost me probably like $100, but I really want to do it. So if you're out there and you want to fund your poor Kyle, I'll start a GoFundMe page.
Fund Kyle's dreams.
Fund my Barbie dream house.
You know, it's like some people donate to cancer, some people donate to hunger, some people donate to homelessness. Like I personally donate to Kyle Dempster ESO housing. That's
they do though.
That's my.
I beg, but I try not to do it in an attacky way because, like, you know, if the money just isn't there, I'm probably gonna spend raw money anyway. But my community knows I have these bit goals set up, so this is kind of new in the last couple weeks. I hope. Oh, I got it back to Twitch.
That's okay. That's okay. Do it. No.
We started bit goals, and whenever the bit goal is hit, we do a 1,000 crown giveaway. But the
that's
bit
awesome.
goal is like high enough that as a streamer, I'm keeping myself afloat.
Yeah.
Right. It funds itself. And people like it because they're like, someone's like, I got some money on my hands. Let me just pass this thing and know that we're going to give back to the community. But it also is like, well, if you hit this bit goal, I can justify spending my money on.
Exactly, because like let's say you say, hey, if we get 2,000 bits, I'll do a 15 crown giveaway. That's a net benefit plus for you, and then I mean, and you know, here's the thing, and we'll talk about this some other time, but it's just a fact. We need to make some money from the stream. Like it's, you know, it is time dedicated. We're working. And we're trying to help the community. You know, we're giving back as much as we can. I do giveaways, or at least I used to a lot when the stream was really plentiful. And I think that's a great way to do it. And you know, man, here's the thing. It's not like one person says, here's $20 or here's $15, give me a chance to get 20. It's everyone goes, here's like $2. And enough people give $2 and they have a chance for it. It's completely justified. So I wouldn't feel guilty about it because it's honestly, you're helping your community. You're helping the stream by being able to buy stuff, being able to get new people in. So I think it's all good.
And so taking it back, try and get it out of Twitch, but into ESO, which is hard for me because those two are completely linked.
Oh, I agree.
I almost never play ESO if I'm not on stream. Like sometimes,
me neither.
But very rarely. So like, we use that housing. That housing, it doesn't get used 24/7, but it has been a place of some great guildy screenshots and stuff like that we've taken recently. We often, I mean, there's usually, we meet up at least 5 of us in a guild hall every day. And also, I don't like to RP myself. I have nothing but love for the RP community, but I'm really bad at getting into character of that sort. But I'm very appreciative and like contributing in a way to lore. So with our guild, my obsession with housing has translated into, I really want to own a guild hall in almost every city. Because that's what the Fighters Guild would do, or that's what the Mages Guild would do, and I like the idea that our guild has that. And luckily on PC, there's an add-on that lets people port to any of the guild halls. So
that's really cool.
You want a free port to Alanord? Just pop to our guild hall. You want a free port to Rivenspire? Pop to the guild hall. I don't know that one.
That's really cool. Yeah, honestly, housing it's pretty much unlimited opportunity if you're doing it right. And it sounds like you are. So. But now we got to get into the bad stuff. What is your least, if you could change one thing about ESO, what's your least favorite thing?
Ooh, what's my least favorite thing?
It's a tough one, especially for a newer player, because, you know, I feel like you haven't hit the ESO burnout yet.
Right. So I got to give feedback that went to Bethesda Game Days. Which was, and this feedback, it's going to tie into, one part's going to tie into housing. I gave 2 issues. They're not major complaints. One, I'll make it brief. Housing cap, way too small.
Yep, I agree 100%. I was talking about that yesterday. Yep.
Curbs creativity for almost everyone. Second one, guild management tools. Poopy. Very, very poopy. I hate that the guild bank is limited to withdraw everything or withdraw nothing. I watched someone on Twitter recently say, 7 pages of my guild bank just got emptied, and my heart went out to that person because ZOS will not help them. Like, that's just their rule. They won't help people that get their guild bank emptied. So you got to be careful. Like, so our guild bank is locked to me and 2 other people.
Yep.
One that I've known for a year now, through many different games, and the other who's my expert decorator who I trust with everything. But we can't. I would love to have it so that we could have our guild bank is just packed with basic recipes, like green ones that we could vendor for like 7 gold, but that's pointless. That's not going to help me, but it might help someone's alt, and I'd rather them be able to have that. So World of Warcraft has a really good guild bank system. We need to copy them. They make it so that certain levels within the guild can withdraw certain amounts of items per day, and also certain they have different tabs for their guild bank where you can put different rarities of items. So you can be like, well, this stuff's expensive and hard, and this should be for our trials group. So we're going to put that for like this tab, and you can't get to that tab until you're like a senior member in the guild, Whereas all these crappy green recipes that I want to give away should be accessible, and it's an all or nothing system currently, and I don't think it works.
I agree 100%.
Those are minor.
I think it'd be
minor.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be cool too if like you could put permissions. Hey, they can take stuff from the guild, but they can't take gold. Like even that would just be nice. You know what I'm saying? Just lock off the gold so no one can clean out your bank. So.
Well, yeah, you could right, because you can lock. You can say that you can restrict it to a rule right now, but I don't like that's all or nothing. I wish people could take some gold out every day if they wanted to.
Yeah, like 2,000 or something, like just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, because WoW has that too, where people can actually use the guild bank to repair their armor if you allow them to.
Yeah, I think that, especially with streamers and streamer guilds, like, and there's some big ones too, man. I mean, like, Inklings Guild is, like, legendary. Like, on PC, I only hear stories because I'm an Xbox guy, but, yeah, those are some really good ones. I say this every time on mine. I know my chat is saying it probably. My biggest problem is the glitches and the bugs in the game and how sometimes I feel like they're unaddressed. And I am not an IT specialist. I don't know what ZOS's back program is. But I actually wrote a letter to ZOS about a year ago. Very small streamer at the time. I said, hey, I have no real voice, no real opinion, or no real say in how the community thinks, but I would bet you if you took and didn't come out with a new $40 patch and instead came out with an update patch that just fixed like 150 of the glitches, I bet you'd get more old players back to the game than new players from the new thing. Because most of the people I know who have quit the game have left because of glitches and bugs. Especially on Xbox. I mean, the queue system some days works, some days it doesn't work. And, I mean, my friend, he plays every day with me. He got so frustrated. He goes, when are they going to fix this? He goes, I'm paying $15 a month. And, like, I was like, dude, we don't know how it works in the back end. But I do think it's a problem, consistency, especially on an MMO where people are spending hours a day.
Well, and it compounds the issue because, they put out those $150 homes. And every time, I mean, I just saw 2 of them today, like an hour ago, where people were like, wow, I bet this house looks great in Xbox HDR that's broken. And I'm like, ugh, okay, you do have a point, a very valid point. You're pushing, I mean, that's the danger of anyone that's pushing a monetary system like that and yet doesn't have their shit together. Like, you really need to have a solid working system. And also, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit hard on coders out there. I am. It's 2018. I'm sorry, this is not 1994. The internet's been around. Fix your shit. Get it out there. Like, I know it's not that simple, but when you are charging $150 for a house, I feel like you can pay some people some overtime to fix that code.
Yeah, and housing has some of the worst glitches in it. Sometimes items come out and they're all black. Sometimes items come out and they don't even render incorrectly. And that's devastating too, and that, you might not get a lot of pieces that patch, and the one cool one that you're excited for is not working, and, makes you think to yourself, shit, paying $14.99 a month? Like, all these things, this is an awful joke, but what was it? It was the Bethesda conference. What's it called? QuakeCon. Zenimax said, hey, we're going to give you more rewards for Plus. So when you're a Plus member, you're actually going to get 1650 crowns. You're going to get special rewards every month that you do it. And if you do like 3 months in a row, you get a special reward. And I remember someone commented under and said, how about you just fix some bugs? That's all they said. They said, we don't need this. Just make my $14.99 go. I said, the comment was, take my $14.99 and take 500,000 other $14.99s and give it to some new guy to just work on code at night. And I was like,
it's true.
And I was like, damn. And but here's the thing: I find lack of understanding of how that works in the back end. I think makes me very one-sided. I bet if I sat down and looked at all the things they'd have to do, all the work, all the manpower, it might be better just to keep moving forward. I don't know. So that's why I'm not like livid. I'm like, I'm gonna quit the game if they don't fix this. But it's like, when you love something, you critique it, and it's not in a malicious way. I'm like, hey ZOS, you have a great MMO in your hand, very easily the best one out in the market right now. Let's just fix these little problems, and then damn, it'll be even better. Like, you want to compete with WoW, you need to have that solid infrastructure like WoW has. So.
Well, in all fairness, they're not perfect either. I mean, they have a shit ton of issues over in World of Warcraft. So, it isn't just an ESO thing, and that's why it's hard. And I understand the back end is more difficult than I could wrap my uncoded brain around. But
it's their profession.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me, man.
It's money, and people want things to work. And I'm the first person to yell at something when it doesn't.
Oh, so am I. Trust me. I get very livid, and it's not good. But the other thing I wanted to talk about too, it was something to do with role playing. I should have taken a sticky note about it, but I think the low housing. So back to your gripe. I wanted to go back on this about how you can't put that many items in certain size houses. That destroys role players, because when some people role play, they're not a wealthy character, and they want to have their little house where they can put all their trophies in, and that kills role playing. And I think that's a whole other part to it. And the role playing community aren't streaming. That's the thing. Only a couple streamers I know that thoroughly role play, especially in ESO. And the role-playing community doesn't watch streams because they're role-playing all day. But I know this is a problem for them, and I've talked to a couple of them because I've just met them through queues and instances, and they don't like it. So that's a whole other problem with the amount of items you can put in each home.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a massive limitation, because I drive so much joy out of seeing those houses completely decorated, and that's something I like, is seeing a really cluttered space, because I want to make it look as real as possible. Like, I imagine if you're walking into a guild hall in Elder Scrolls Online, that there's going to be stuff everywhere, because you're gathering all this material on a daily basis. It's got to go somewhere. My place needs to look busy. I just went and hacked apart all those dungeon bosses. I want to kind of show off the crap, the haul of loot we have, in a way. And, whether that's just riches, meaning like a pillow or something, is thrown around because we can buy that stuff, whatever. But that new house that's coming out, the Grand Cedric Villa, is going to be a massive problem, because if it really is truly only going to keep a 700 item cap, and they decide not to upgrade that cap for a long time, we're going to be in a pickle. It has a massive amount of space there, but there's just that 700 item cap will be gone like that. I don't know. I just could go on about that forever, but I'll try not to.
No, it's completely fine,
It might
dude.
make me not buy it. It might make me not buy it. I definitely have people in my chat that are saying, I will not buy that if we don't get a cap increase. I'm going to buy it with the hope that we do get one.
Yeah, my whole thing is people, they'll say, oh, I'm not going to do this because Zos won't do it. And I'm like, you got to have faith, man. Zos is listening to their community like a lot of companies don't. And
yeah.
And I do think they listen to the streamers. I've been told by many bigger streamers they lurk in a lot of streams and just listen and take notes and try to pick up on things. So I hope that is true. So I always have blind faith. Also, it's secretly because I want to get on the stream team and I don't want to bitch at them all day because I know they don't like that. But that's besides the point. But I don't know. It's an interesting problem that, I think it might also have to do with the infrastructure. Like, how many things you can put in might make the game lag, might make the servers work harder, might make the game laggier in general. I know it's instance-based for the houses, but again, I don't know enough to say that is or isn't an effect on something. Oh god, we just got a host and it's so loud in my ear. Oh, it's you!
So
it's
anyway,
okay.
I just hosted you, and I'm sorry, I have killed your ears. But no,
I need to turn that off.
They do lurk. I'm glad that they do listen. Those are very, very important things. To have that sort of care out there in the community, or that they're actually paying attention to their community. They just need to be a little bit faster to implement. And I don't know. I've been told it's not that long of a stretch, but if you're listening, I don't know. I don't. Maybe I'm pipe dreaming at this point. But I feel like the housing one is a forever issue, and I think we need to see that fixed soon. Again, my issues with the game aren't that big. I've not run into too many that I can go on about forever. Mine are pretty small in the issue category, luckily.
That's good, yeah. And that's the reason we stream it. People will always be like, oh, Snow, you bitch so much. And I'm like, well, I'm just critiquing. I love the game with all my heart, and I critique to hope maybe one day I can improve it at least a little bit. So,
yeah.
But now let's talk about, another host. I need to turn off my alerts.
Wait, but I want to address something from your chat.
Okay.
Radamez says, if the size of the items they can't anticipate causes lag. True, and also I disagree, because we go into many areas of the game that have way more than 700 items shoved into them. And I just don't buy that is truly, like, to some degree, yes, but I would be happy with, like, just a 200 item cap increase, not like 1,000 item cap increase. I'll take 1,000, don't get me wrong. But like 200 items, I know that there's some houses in the game, some areas you walk into that have it. And I had to address it because I see that a lot. And I just go, but what about that place? And no one comments. Like, my chat won't talk about it. When they say, but Kyle, the lag. And I say, yeah, but look at the copy of the Daggerfall Overlook that's in Rivenspire where the vampire dude lives. And I show them a picture because I screenshots of it because we use it as referential material. And they're like,
yep, yeah, that happens. Yep, just
back right out that door. Like, okay,
that's fair.
It's a valid point. Like, I get it. And someone in my chat, which I agree with. Well, actually, another thing too. On the PTS, they have, I don't know, an unlimited item cap. I've seen someone shove 2,000 items into a house. And I understand that's a PTS, and it's not, like, burdening the servers in the same way. But I would pay for a slightly bigger item cap at my house. Like an account upgrade, I would do it. If it were, like, a one-time $25 fee, I might even go for a once a month, like, a little extra bump, like an optional subscription, if you want to go crazy. But if I'm going to pay monthly, that's when I want my 1,000 extra.
That's fair. Yeah, those are good points. Don't you get double for just being a Plus member? I think you do. You get double housing. Yeah, but
so that's not unheard of, right? Like, that's a thing. It's a precedent.
It's like
and
5
if they wanted
to 10.
To say, hey, you can do a second sub. This is our $5 a month plan. In addition to, now it's $20 a month, and your cap goes up. I don't know, 1,000, maybe even 500. For me, as a decorating type of guy, that would be worth it. Like, I could easily justify that expense.
Yeah, completely understandable. I agree. Like, it's so funny because I talk to so many people about player housing, and I'm so not involved with it as much as a lot of people are. But it's an interesting conversation. Seriously, just being an Elder Scrolls fan, I think it's important because, regardless if I'm into it or not, the community is very much there. So, you got to do with it what you want. So. And
hey, if they need to do some optimizations, you got your next mission then.
Yeah, exactly.
Cancel your whatever dorky pack that no one wants that's going to come out in 6 months. Not talking Murkmire, I'm making something up. I don't have one in mind. But cancel that lame expansion that you were considering and instead do some major overhaul like you suggested earlier.
I think that would bring back so many old people. It's not even funny. I feel like a lot of people don't leave ESO because of the game, but it's because of the problems that the game has.
Yeah.
But I also want to talk to you about classes. And are you doing more PvE or PvP content when you're not housing? What do you gravitate towards?
Primarily pure PvE.
Fair enough.
We're gonna do some PvP, I'm sure, with this Imperial City stuff going on right now, the Mayhem. But again, mainly, and actually only because I want furniture items out of there. I want those damn Imperial banners because I've been all into Imperials lately. Pardon me. I rolled an Imperial 2 in the last, 2 months or something, or a month and a half. I'm all about it. I bought the Imperial Warhorse and the dog, and I'm down that rabbit hole, so I need the flags, the banners to go with it. It just happens that Imperial Mayhem is here, or whatever the hell they're calling it. Imperial City crap. So tonight, I think that's going to be our plan, is to go in there, and if not tonight, then definitely this weekend. For me, it's PvE, and right now I'm being drawn to a Warden.
The Warden's such a controversial class. So what are you doing with the, why?
Why? Yeah.
So when the Warden came out, it was a little bit busted.
People, not the class.
So it was a little bit busted when it came out, and it was behind a paywall of Morrowind. So it'd be like if there was a class released in Somerset, and you couldn't use it unless you bought Somerset. So that's exactly how it was last year. And when it came out, it wasn't amazing for PvE, but the Stam Warden is still a force to be reckoned with in PvP. It's a very, very good class. And there was a lot of controversy around that. And then also, it's sort of a jack-of-all-trades class in ESO, which when you get to endgame stuff, that's really not the way the game works. If you're going to be a DPS, all damage. If you're going to be a tank, all tanking. If you're going to be a healer, all heals. And so the Warden can do some tanking. It has a certain skill line for healing. It has a certain skill line for damage. So it's in this space where in PvE it's not really used a lot. You don't see Warden DPSs. You don't see Warden healers or Warden tanks. Now, I personally have, if you do 3 DPS, the Warden, as you probably know, has that healing ultimate where the whole ground trees spurt up and then people get healed. So that's a great move, and the regen on it's really good. And so we have my friend King Supercuts tank with that, and he has some heals and some tanking. But for very, very MLG pro ESO players, the Warden is one of those classes that's sort of like the odd cousin of the family, and no one really pays attention to it. In PvP, though, very good. Fang Rush has made plenty of builds with it. It's good in PvP. So
I like that So I just rolled a Stam Templar, and that was what I did right before my Warden. and the Stam Templar is very squishy. I mean, I admit I could be playing him wrong, but and he doesn't have his full level 50 gear yet. That's also part of it.
Yep, that's a huge
the
thing.
whole leveling process, he was pretty squishy. Like, he takes a lot of damage as a Stamplar, and I see my health, radically go. Like, he can nuke people pretty quickly, but if he doesn't, and there's a group of 3, he gets really hurt. The Warden, though, my goodness, I killed a group of 8 last night with almost no sweat. Now, admittedly, the training wheels are still on in terms of the leveling bonuses and stuff like that. But at the same time, my guy's so new that he's barely wearing gear. Like, he's like level 14.
Yeah, just base class, you're seeing certain things. Yeah.
So I'm curious if I revise that when I hit 50. But I actually am leveling both a Stam Warden and a Magicka Warden.
Both are good
at the same time.
Yeah, the Magicka.
We've got a 14 and a 20.
Yeah, the Magicka Warden's going to be more survivable unless you're tanking with the Stam Warden, because basically tanking, you're holding block a lot, so you need Stam, not really as much Magicka. But if you're going to do like a Stam DPS or a Magicka DPS, the Magicka DPS will usually have shields, because Light Armor has a move called Harness Magicka, and it's just a really good shield that you can keep spamming as long as you have Magicka, while Wardens and most Stam builds don't have many heals. But regardless, yeah, the Warden, or the Stamplar is a funny one too, because it was back, I think, 2 years or a year and a half ago. It was so good. Every single patch they nerfed it, but they never nerfed it enough. So for like 4 patches, they just kept hitting the Stamplar until it was just so dead that no one could play it. Now it's like slowly coming back, but like me and King Supercuts, we always make jokes. We're like, dude, the Stam Warden or the Stamplar got stepped on like a bug. Like they just
feels like it.
Yeah, they destroyed it. So if you find trouble with it, it's not unfounded. And with the Stam Warden, they still show love to that class, or at least they're trying to. I like the Warden. I think it's very versatile. I think it's really good for newer players. I think the Warden and the Sorcerer are the 2 best classes for new, and Dragon Knight are pretty good for new players. But yeah. So are you finding yourself like, do you want to do damage? Do you want to tank? Do you want to healer? Have you not really thought about it, or?
Well, that's a trick. I want to do all of it. All of it. That's why I rolled 2 in a way, to really feel them out. Like, whatever my Stam Warden morphs a skill to, my Magicka one is morphing the opposite way. I initially rolled a Stam Warden to be just pure DPS, and then people said, no, a Stam Warden is a valid option as both a tank and a stamina healer. And I'm like, what? I love healers. So I was leveling this guy very not seriously. Like, yep. I just one night was bored, and people were like, then roll it. I was like, okay, so I created it. And people were like, well, let's go quest together. And I'm like, okay, I really like playing a support class. And when I say support class, I mean truly not pure healer, not pure... I mean, I don't mind playing a pure healer. That's fine. I like it. My main is a healer. But I like... I truly like playing someone in the middle that's doing both damage and healing at the same time. And he was really, really fun for that, because we could go up against a world boss and he could easily throw down some heals. You could tell he'd start to suffer because he wasn't full-on healer, but at the same time I was healing people in the group, I could do damage. And what caught me is all of their skills are really, really entertaining. Like the Stam Templar skills got kind of really old and boring, and it was also a little bit of a difference of ways I approached it. Stamplar being my first melee class, my first medium armor class, I made a mistake of being a little bit too by the guides online. Like, just, they were introducing me to skills, but I didn't learn a lot of them. So with this guy, I'm back to not looking at any guides. Like, I've not looked up anything. Anytime I get the urge to just to get knowledge, I'm not doing it. I'm just like, whatever, I'll wing it and figure it out someday. So that's a difference in playstyle.
Yeah, and yeah, the Stam Warden is more, or the Warden is more interesting because it got like its own special treatment, because it was a year in development after the game came out, or 2 years in development after the game came out. Whereas the Sorc, Dragon Knight, Nightblade, and Templar all were formed right around the same time. And I mean, the Templar is meant to be a healer. Like, it can do other stuff, but when it comes to like healer, it's the best healer. Dragon Knight is clearly the best tank. Like, they'll make other classes good at tank, but so like I said, that Warden is that jack of all trades. I guess my only tip, and you don't have to take it, but if someone came up to me and said, hey, I want to play a Warden, I want to do some damage and some healing, I'd say Magicka Warden, just because the Destruction Staff abilities give you really good damage moves that are free to any class. So you get Wall of Elements and Force Pulse, and then you get the Warden heals, And I think that works really well with the Stam Ward. I'm not really familiar with Stam healing because the restoration staff is also Magicka use.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how Stam healing works. I'm not going to say it's not possible, because if I don't have experience with something and someone says, hey, what about this? I'm like, I got no fucking clue. Not, oh yeah, that doesn't work, because I've never tried it. But if you definitely, I'm just going to say overall, hey, I want to do a little bit of everything. The Warden, man, you could switch that. I have a Warden, and I've made him a healer, a tank, a DPS, a PvP build, everything. You have to switch his class, because certain classes complement certain things. So, like, High Elf, Dark Elf, Breton are Magicka, Wood Elf, Khajiit, Redguard, Imperial are Stamina, just by their
Right,
passives.
I've got an Imperial Stam Warden and a Breton Magicka Warden.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good split between the two. I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun with the Magicka one right now. I'm having a little bit maybe more fun with him for the moment, because at least I know I'm comfortable with the Magicka side of it. I should be comfortable with the Stamina side, but the Stam, he's trying to go in too many directions. Stam healer, Stam DPS, with the idea he might eventually become a tank. Like, that's just all over the place. I need to take a step back.
Yeah, my other thing too, and I tell this to a lot of people who are just getting into PvE, don't rush it, because like it sucks for me, because I just can't go back and do that stuff because it's so monotonous because of just the stuff you do later in the end game. But like where you're at and like where so many people are at, just enjoy it. Like, have fun like learning all the ins and outs of a build, have fun testing new things, because like you get to this point, and it happens with anything. You get like, and I'm not like tooting my own horn because I'm not the best, but like you just have done it for so long, you're like, yeah, I kind of know everything. So like it's just not as exciting. So I like what you're saying, like, oh yeah, I get to go quest and do world bosses. I'm like, I don't remember the last time I did that with like my classes. But it's such a fun part of the game, dude. It's so good. Like, you can play with more than 3 people. Like, you can go around and run around Tamriel, which is beautiful, by the way. So I definitely implore it, and I always tell people, because people come in, they're like, how do I get to 800 or how do I get to 780 like the fastest? And I'm like, bro, there's no fast way. And you don't want to anyway, trust me, because it's just you're not gonna appreciate, like, if you stick with it and you get like really good, like in like, let's say like 5 months, 6 months, you will appreciate the road you took getting there so much that you'll, like, when you beat tough stuff, you're like, oh my god, like, all this stuff I did led to this moment. It's just such a good feeling, and personally having it myself, it's a lot of fun. So
I'm excited, and I give people the same advice. I say, do the most. Take it slow. There's no reason to rush. And my chat's really good about warning people too. Like, they'll all jump on board with some, because like I heard Dolmens are the best way to level.
They're a great way to.
Everyone's like, no, that's gonna kill you IRL, and
it will. It will. Yeah. I've done grinds before where I went on the docks of Hammerfell and ran in a circle for 8 hours. Yeah, like it was awful, but like I woke up that morning, I'd already leveled up a guy, and I'm like, damn, I want to level up this guy. And then me and my friend, we just went at it till I finished, and it was torture. I haven't done it since.
See, there you go. You burn yourself out.
But one of the best ways to level, seriously, if you're like, hey, I'm trying to get levels and get good at the game, if you random queue for dungeons, you get accelerated XP.
Oh yeah. That's
a great. That's what I've been doing, because I'm working on a tank right now, and I just do random dungeons because I get to practice tanking.
Right.
And you're getting I think it's 33,000 XP when you're at vet, but I don't know what it is when you're lower, but it's accelerated XP. And then obviously getting Sigic Amberosus and putting them on there, and then doing the quests for each dungeon too. Jesus. And then the main story. God, the main story, dude, will give you so many skill points and I
can see
XP.
how that kills people, though, the main storyline. Like, I didn't enjoy it my first time through it, to be honest. Like, it felt tedious, and I know people out there have such high praise for it, but I couldn't have been less invested in those characters.
Yeah, I agree.
People were like, yeah, when you do it a second, third, fourth, fifth time.
It gets old. My friend has 14 characters maxed out, and he said the 14th time was the hardest. I was like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, well, he can do it one more time on his account, and then he never has to do it again, unless he wants to roll a second account like a crazy person.
Or buys more slots.
Isn't it max at 15?
It is, but they keep increasing it. They'll be like, all right, now it's 16, and you're like, oh no. But
I can see how that's a real. Like, I can see how altalism is real.
And some people get addicted to just grinding up characters, not even playing them. Like, they just grind up characters because they're like, I'm just gonna grind up another character. I'm like, why don't you get good with one? And they're like, nah, I'll just make a new one. And I'm like,
whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, well, really, whatever does, But hey, we're getting that 45-minute mark, and guys, me and Kyle both have streams coming up in about 15 minutes, probably even faster. But Kyle, I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for being on again, dude. I hope, once I get through a couple more guests that I have lined up, I'd love to have you back, because I feel like we could do a bunch of stuff. Guys, me and Kyle, I'll make a little announcement here at the end here. Me and Kyle do have a podcast in the work, but we're actually going to push it back a little bit, and we're going to go at it through a different medium than streaming. No, it's not. No. Life is... It is.
No, it really is. I had to put the brakes on it because life is crazy right now, and I did just start a podcast. So I'm like, I need to devote real TLC to these shows and not be like, look, let me just throw more on my plate. So
yeah, 100%. But I think it's going to be called Path to Partner. It's going to be very much Twitch related, and we're going to move it in the direction of not recording it on a stream, but recording it audio, and then putting that on iTunes. We can put it up on Spotify, and then you guys will let you know through our Discords and stuff like that. And like I said, that's probably not going to happen until maybe late September, early October, when Kyle and myself honestly get some free time, because as we talked about before, me and Kyle are definitely in this phase where, we just got to pound in working on the stream right now, and I think me and him both understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be very, very exciting to do. And for the podcast listeners out there, if you want to be super eager and be really on the ball, you could actually go find it. I had started it concept-wise with someone that couldn't stick through, and so I kind of thought it was dead. And then when Billy contacted me, I was like, this is a perfect fit. We need to do this. So if you want to be crazy and go search Path to Partner, you could find it on your favorite podcasty app. But just know that that's original concept. And I don't know if we're going to delete those episodes because there's some good content in them, but we're going to just restart and kind of be our own thing. It's going to change and develop in its own way.
And I think, at least for me, I'm really excited about it, and I'm definitely going to keep, I'll let you guys know when things start rolling, when life calms down. I think September, just the beginning, is just so hectic, dude. It's just like everyone's going back to school, work gets real, it's not summer anymore, so. But the last thing I want to say too, guys, I said this last time, and it's this crazy cutting-edge technology of 2 tabs. So me and Kyle are both going to be going live, doing some really awesome ESO stuff, and seriously, they're both worth watching. Or if you prefer one, lurk in the other, help out as many streamers as you can. You guys actually get more drops. So yeah, I want to thank you all so much for watching. And Kyle, thank you for being here. And guys, remember, 2 drops or 2 tabs.
2 tabs.
We'll both see you guys in 15 minutes. Peace out.
Yeah, love you all. Thanks. Bye.
Nice job, my dude.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, they're honestly so fun. I enjoy the shit out of them. Yeah, that was great, and